I actually, I actually want to call out some people, talk more about what is going on. But in the beginning of this genocide, which was a conflict in the beginning, but then we realized it was just a planned genocide in disguise, basically halfly planned by Netanyahu, or maybe even engineered by him. I want to talk about the words of Gad Saad. His name is, and he has the podcast The Sad Truth. In the beginning, when I was like siding with, in the very beginning, just after October 7th, I was siding with the son of the leader of Hamas and Israel. I was shocked that people were supporting terrorist organization. The Gad Saad Gad, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The Sad Truth is his podcast, is his YouTube channel. He said, there is, and I like this video. I commented on many of his videos, probably. He said there is a difference between a child being killed during the bombing and being shot in their crib. And I agree 100%. But tell me now, when there is evidence from an ex-American soldier who was in Gaza, where there is evidence by anonymous IDF soldiers who served in Gaza, but they don't want to show their identity because they claim they will be ostracized completely and denounced by their government, by their people, not government, people. So there's lots of social pressure. And the doctors that were treating the children, or the children dying in their arms. Tell me, what do you say now in response or to the fact that children are being targeted? There is evidence of that, as I said. Children are being shot for fun. Children are being used as a target training. What do you say about that now? Do you think that Hamas is so barbaric while Israel is? They are the good guys. They are the angels. They are the defenders of the Western values. Tell me now. Not only this. This is just despicable. I really wonder what, if he saw my video, what he would say. That, if he has any way, and he is alike, I can call out many people right now that I was following in the beginning. If he thinks that there's any way of justifying it, like there's any way that weighs more killing an Israeli child than Palestinian child, then he proves everyone that he's racist. I am not using racist word easily. I was laughing at people overusing this word or this term all the time. Like anyone got offended. Oh, you're racist. Oh, that's shut. The discussion is shut down. Over. If you claim that any child has more value than the other child, then you are a racist. This is so obvious. There's and the same, that's exactly what I failed to say in the previous video. The same about Trump. If you will prove your enemies right if you show that you contribute to a genocide of children because they are not your own children, American children. You show exactly that you really are racist, that you were accused of being. Also, in my eyes, I was really your supporter on some things. And now I don't know what to think anymore. But what I think, first of all, that there's something wrong with a human psyche. That once you grab power, You cannot let go of this power. So even if you know that something is morally unjustifiable, you will turn your blind eye to it because you want to keep power. So let's say that you, Trump, thought this is wrong, what is going on. The children are starving. They're starved by Israelis. This is, if you think this is, if you know this is wrong, but you still continue because of Israel lobbyists, because of how much money you get and power from Israel, and we all know it's about that, or we all know, we who are not blind know that it's about money and power. If you still continue, that means you never cared about people. You don't care about any children. You care only about being in power. And I've heard people accusing you of being a narcissist, and I was like, come on, he's not. If you continue, you prove everything, that you're a racist, that you're a narcissist, which is the least serious of all the accusations, that you are an equivalent of a Nazi, because the Zionists that took over Gaza right now, they are Nazis. And exactly, going back to the God sad truth, what you would tell me on the fact, you said that there's difference between bombing and shooting. Collateral damage, children dying because of collateral damage because of the bomb, and being shot directly. Now we know that IDF is shooting children with sophisticated tools, with drones. They have cameras, and they are shooting children. These images are just coming out right now. They were hidden for a very long time, suppressed by mainstream media. But what would you say about another form of torture, another form of killing children, which is starvation? I think, for me, the limit is always what kind of human you are, human being. The limit is what you think about children. If you wish them in any way any harm. But if we have to categorize what is the worst way to kill a child, is to starve it. Is to starve this poor innocent child. So answer me to that. Just, this is the worst thing you can do to another human being, and Israel did that deliberately. And I'm so shocked. I'm getting emotional still, but maybe I should focus on my rage, because if I get emotional, I will not be able to say anything. I just cannot believe that UN, who is helping a lot, but at the same time that Europe, we in Europe and Polish people and Poles, come on, wake up. Why we allowed this concentration camp Gaza to be closed for 3 months, for fuck's sake? How is that even allowed? So that's my point. I would tell you more. Yeah, I suppose I have to call out another person, who, which is Jordan Peterson. I was follower of his. I read his books. I was watching lots of his interviews. I felt that he had a great grip on reality. And it's like that. I honestly don't know right now what he's saying about the war, the genocide. I only know that suddenly in my feed when there's everything pro-Palestine, suddenly all the Republicans or supporters of Republicans or people that I sided with are suddenly not visible on my feed. He, as I said, I followed him quite a lot and read a lot about him. So he has posters at his home. He has posters from Soviet Union, of posters of propaganda from the times of Soviet Union, for him to remember how dangerous propaganda is. So what will he say right now about what is going on, since it started from propaganda? As a Polish person, of course, as a Pole, um, at school we were taught over and over again about Second World War. I've seen a huge amount, like lots of documentary movies about Second World War, also such that I should have never watched because they showed some gruesome things that we are observing in Gaza, by the way, right now. Um, so I've read a lot, and I also seen movies like, of course, The Schindler's List over and over again, The Pianist, and I was thinking to myself throughout many years, how is that possible that it ever happened? I can't comprehend it. My mind, it's just mind boggling. And then I realized, after years and years, some years ago, actually, I only realized that it started from propaganda. That propaganda machine is the worst enemy, the most powerful enemy of humans, of our morals, of our moral decay, or is causing the moral decay. And then suddenly it made sense why. So there were like Polish people saying, "Oh, I remember, yeah, Germans will always, not many, but still, well, I never forget what Germans did. They are our enemies. They will always be our enemies." But my thought was like, I'm not sure. I don't know what to think about it. And then I realized years after that it's not Germans. This is propaganda. Hitler had Joseph Goebbels was his propaganda minister. It's funny because now propaganda has this pejorative, negative meaning, like propaganda that means you're just conspiracies, you're spreading conspiracies if you mean that this is propaganda. But he had a minister that was called propaganda minister. So what is happening in Gaza now? I was blind to it. Most of us Poles, I don't know about the rest of the world. I was oblivious. Didn't know that it was ongoing for decades. It started, by the way, Netanyahu's grandfather. He was an openly Zionist. There's no doubt about that. Netanyahu is a Zionist. It's I will underline, Jewish equivalent of a Nazi, using exactly the same methods. IDF is using exactly the same method as SS and Gestapo right now against Palestinian people, as Germans used against Jews and Polish and Poles. Oh, fuck! I lost track of my thoughts. So exactly, my point is that this propaganda, that the saying that Palestinians are worse than us, we are more intelligent, we are superior, they are below us, they are exactly, there was the German word for it in Nazi Germany, Untermensch, Übermensch, subhuman. They have been telling people, children at school, in schools and universities, that Palestinians are subhumans. Exactly like in Nazi Germany. Exactly like Hitlerjugend was created by brainwashing children that Jews are worse than you, you're better, this eugenics, everything. This is sick, isn't it? History repeats itself, and Poles fail to recognize that. It's just sickening how obvious it is right now for me. So it's been ongoing for decades. As I said, I was not really involved in politics for many years, and my entire life basically, and some years ago I started. I think it was inevitable because my father and my grandmother, they are like, yeah, super getting agitated watching the news. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to be like that. But here I am. To be honest, this is not a topic that we should be silent about, especially as Poles, especially as Polish people who went through the same hell, and now this hell is thrown upon by the hands of Israelis, and we just ignore it because, as I said, it's not in our backyard. It's not our country. I want to say that, and I said that already. For me, the threshold, the limit is, or maybe my thought on how to stay away from dangerous propaganda. That, of course, probably I was also a victim of, but not exactly, not as extreme. Zionism is an extreme propaganda. What was happening, what has been happening in Israel, in educational system, in military system, how they were viewing Palestinians, it's extremist propaganda. But how to stay away from propaganda? Because I was thinking to myself, how can I be sure that I will not fall a victim to it, and then become a perpetrator? Whatever side you're on politically, ask yourself if they start targeting children, like morally, like exactly Zionists did, and some rabbis openly said. Some rabbi recently openly written on X. I don't remember his name. Let's hope he will not be remembered. That remember, he said that quote. Remember that Palestinians, grown-up Palestinians, they were also children once. That's why I think they should starve to death, all of them, because they will grow up to be Palestinians, to be terrorists, right? Everyone's terrorist. And that's sick. So if you really want to do some soul searching and be sure that you stay away from propaganda, from dangerous propaganda, ask yourself or listen carefully what the people that you're listening to say about children. Children are innocent. They never choose to live like that. Gazans children did not choose to starve to death. So I will call out some podcast right now that I've been following for a long time, some 2 years, long time, 2 years maybe right now. When there was this right shift, I didn't agree to that term often, the right wing, because it was too far fetched. I just felt that liberals have lost their grounding, like they got crazy, and I was searching for a voice of reason. But now, in the face of what is going on right now in Gaza and Israel, I think that everyone should put their fucking judgmental ideas aside and unite. And I will call out now. I will basically, if anyone sees my video, I will have enemies everywhere. So I will call out Matt Walsh, Christian Kisin, Konstantin Kisin, podcast of the Lotus Eaters. I really liked them. The Get Sad Truth, as I said. Yeah, many others, I suppose, because they seemed to me, Donald Trump, they seemed to me like they cared about children, because they were calling out, for example, the podcast of the Lotus Eaters was calling out grooming gangs in the UK. And I agreed with that. migration should be controlled. You cannot just let in people you have no idea who they are. I only think that, exactly, and this is what I want to underline, I only think that about children. If there's a child, I would always help. Maybe it's this naive thinking. I would always want to help children are being trafficked, because someone is claiming that they are their parents, and then it turns out they have no documents. They cannot claim that they're their parents. So then they are trafficked actually by adults, and we think, oh, they are refugees. So it's really difficult topic. This is why there's no simple answer to that. To refugees, to helping children, while there should be documents. I think this is the only way eventually for assuring that the child is not being trafficked. Have documents while crossing the border. But anyways, my point is that they seemed like more grounded in their ideas, but now this narrative is getting like too much focused on one. Like racially focused, which is it's really bad timing. My point is that it's so fucking bad timing thinking what is going on in Gaza, because these people, these children, they really need help. They would need to be evacuated from there, and we know it's possible. But Israel doesn't want it to happen because they want to exterminate them. So my point is the debate, like, I will always, and I hope that will help me stay on the right moral ground, on the right side of history, but not of the sake of being on the right side of history, but being not hating myself later. But anyways, I don't think I'm just not prone to wishing harm upon any children. Children are just a different group. It's a separate group, no matter where they come from, no matter what their skin color. They are as innocent and as valuable. But what exactly these podcasters like kind of are proving to me is like, I'm not sure if they care about all the children, only children in their own country. There's another, I don't want to call it this out, maybe, but it's a Christian podcast. So much about abortions, and there are some crazy things going on in the USA. It's a person from the USA with a like Christian podcast. So I felt like she cares about children, but there's no fucking mention about it. She was talking about Biba's brothers and Jewish children, but there's no talk about Palestinian children. Why? Are they worse because they were born to occupied to families in occupied territory? Because they are poor, and that's what sickens me. I think I always been on the side of I think underdogs, and I got lots of trouble for it maybe, but I actually the more someone is bullied, or the more someone is ill treated, the more I want to protect that person. So probably that's why I feel so strongly about children, because they don't choose where they are. They don't choose where whom they are born to. They don't choose their fate. They are so as innocent and hjälplös, not hopeless. Powerless as possible. So, just ask yourself what someone is doing or talking about other children. Then you will know the intent. So, and this is exactly what Jewish school system was doing for the decades, brainwashing people that Palestinians are worse. And that's why IDF soldiers target Palestinian children for fun. They are, and as I said, this is not hearsay. Someone said, no, people who are there, doctors, uh, IDF soldiers, not so many so far, but there will be more to speak out. Uh, the ex-American, what beret, blue beret, I don't remember what's that called, but he was there, one of the American troops in Gaza. He's a whistleblower now. He's telling the truth. He said it does not apply to his or constitutes with his moral values what is going on, that this is the war against civilians. So it's not a hearsay, this is a fact. So please, for fuck's sake, my fellow Polish people, wake up. But you will wake up eventually, but it will be far too late. It will be post factum. It will just, no, I don't know. It's just sickening.